Hello and welcome to another update. In this one I'll be covering code Frontline, starting out on the Marinka part of the Frontline in the Donetsk region. We see here that the Russian forces are attacking the direction of Pobeda, as well as the south of the city and in the center of the city, where here in the park there was a geolocated tank and IFV, which were shooting at Ukrainian positions by these buildings here, as well as buildings across the center of the city. So essentially, if you click on the link here to my Telegram channel, you'll be able to see the video. But essentially, they were shooting from this position here, and they were shooting at these buildings here as well as here. And there's just a lot of destruction around the city. There were some drone images a few weeks ago. I'm not sure exactly where they are because apparently I forgot to forward it to my Telegram channel. But essentially it shows the destruction of Marinka over the past 9 years. The Russian forces are also attacking at Krasnohorivka as well as Nevelske, Pervomaiske and Vodiane to continue their attempts at enveloping the city from the north while attacking from the south as well, which would allow them to gain further control over these residential areas here in Pervomaiske. And to the northeast of Evdivka, there's Russian attacks in the direction of this settlement, where the Russian forces have passed the river line here to the north and are advancing southwards from this position through these forests to the village. Then we see to the north in the Bakhmut front, fighting continues over the whole front line as always, and we see that the Russian forces have actually managed to advance in the south and the east of the city. If we look at the recap, we can see here that they've taken control over the canal as well as the eastern and western side of it. So they're physically taking control over the passing between the two sides, which means that they can now move freely between the two sides here to the south. And they've also advanced further in a bit in the center as well as in the northern part, where they are now reached the rail lines and are able to fully control this area. So they'll continue advancing southwards, westwards and northwards on the eastern bank of the Bakhmutovka River. As for the west, southwest and northwestern side of the city, fighting continues by the intersection as well as in the direction of Ivanivske, and also to the north by the intersection and in the direction of Bakhmut itself, as the Russian forces try to control the western bank of this river line here to the northwest of Bakhmut, which will allow them to focus more forces by the Homovo area. As for the west of Berhivka, fighting continues in the direction of Dubova Vasilivka, as well as Orihova Vasilivka and Hirihorivka, as the Russian forces attempt to advance further in the direction of the canal, gaining control of the canal, which proved very significant for holding the northern flank. A quick note about the composition of the Russian forces attacking Bakhmut. We have two regiments of the Russian Airborne Divisions of 106th Airborne Division and 98th Airborne Division. So these are VDV soldiers. Then we have the 57th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the DPR. And we have the BMC Wagner as well as the 10th Artillery Brigade of the LPR. So essentially the different jobs of the different forces is that the DPR is essentially doing all of the logistical work, making sure that everyone is receiving the supplies they need. The VDV is making sure that there's enough artillery strikes as well as drone footage for the accuracy of the artillery and crossing river lines as well as defending their positions. The Wagner PMC are the shock troopers attacking all of the areas with their soldiers as well as their tanks storming the positions. And then we have the LPR doing the artillery support for this battle. As we can see, there's only a brigade of the LPR doing the artillery support, as well as some VDV regiments. So there's not a lot of artillery support compared to other parts of the front line. But that is what the composition is of the Russian forces in Bakhmut. They also are attacking the direction of Vasyukivka as well as Shnyanske, and this is to gain further control over these positions, allowing them to advance by the road, the E40 highway, as well as to advance westwards and northwards in the direction of Siversk to try and cut it off in the future, as taking all of the roads all the way to Sloviansk will allow the Russian forces to cut off the Ukrainian forces in Siversk, And in this front line, the Russian forces are attacking in the direction of Bilorivka, as well as to the southwest of Kreminna in the direction of the forest line here. And finally, there's fighting continuing in the direction of Plushenka, as well as the west of Chernopopivka, as they try to gain control over the eastern bank of this river line, which will create a strong flank for them to defend from. And that is going to be all for this update. Thank you for watching and have a great day.